Hey everybody, I just thought I would make a quick video here today. I've been asked by a few people what I thought of Magicians of the Gods by Graham Hancock. And I got this book for Christmas. Thank you, Santa. One of the best gifts I got. But initially I read Fingerprints of the Gods about 12 years ago by Graham Hancock. And that was written about 20 years ago when it wasn't all that cool to question what we are taught in school. But reading Fingerprints of the Gods really got me interested in these ancient mysteries, and it made me realize how little I knew about ancient history, just because my whole knowledge base was really reliant upon what I learned in school, and that was highly incomplete and inadequate. And I was just fascinated by Fingerprints of the Gods. It just probably the best book I ever read as far as just gaining knowledge about the history of our planet. And Magicians of the Gods here, I just thought was a fantastic follow-up to that book. So many things that Graham Hancock wrote about and was criticized in Fingerprints of the Gods has been confirmed by findings in the last 20 years. So I'm sure he rather enjoyed writing this book. But he, he puts all of his, the credits in his book, and he has a whole chapter just where he found this evidence. And it is highly complete and well documented. It is a must for anybody who is interested in ancient history, Fingerprints of the Gods and Magicians of the Gods. But in Magicians of the Gods, he goes on in his first part of the book talking about Göbekli Tepe and Gunung Padang. These two sites that have fascinated anybody that is really interested in the history of our country, because Göbekli Tepe, is dated to 12,000 years ago, and Gunung Padang is possibly 20,000 years old. So that's how he starts off the book, and he really grips your imagination. Some of my favorite parts of the book are entitled Journey Through the Scablands and Fingerprints of a Comet, where he goes over this cataclysmic event, which was probably the most devastating on our planet in about maybe 250,000 years, that happened 12,800 years ago and produced a flood in the northwest of the United States that we can't even imagine. Another favorite part of the book was entitled Resurrection and the Island of Ka, the Monastery of the Seven Sages, and the Books of Thoth, a chapter that I highly recommend people to read, because there has been some false information put out there on the Books of Thoth, and I don't even want to talk about that. But anyway, another chapter, the chapter on Baalbek, I found was fascinating. Now, I just want to read the introduction, the one-page introduction to this book, and it's entitled Sand. It says, "A house raised on sand will always be in danger of collapse. The evidence is mounting, though most of the later construction is of high quality, that the edifice of our past built by historians and archaeologists stands on defective and dangerously unsound foundations. An extinction-level cataclysm occurred on our planet between 12,800 and 11,600 years ago. This event was global in its consequences, and it affected mankind profoundly. Because the scientific evidence that proves it happened has only emerged since 2007, and because its implications have not yet been taken into account by all historians and archaeologists, we are obliged to contemplate the possibility that everything we have been taught about the origins of civilization could be wrong. In particular, it must be considered as a reasonable hypothesis that worldwide myths of a golden age brought to an end by flood and fire are true, and that an entire episode of the human story was rubbed out in those 1,200 cataclysmic years between 12,800 and 11,600 years ago, an episode not of unsophisticated hunter-gatherers, but of advanced civilization. Did that civilization, if it existed at all, leave any trace that we might still be able to identify today, despite the passage of so much time? And if so, does its loss have any real significance for us? This book is an attempt to answer those questions." So that is the introduction to Magicians of the Gods. Anybody who is interested in human origins and what happened on this planet, I think this book is a must. I commend Graham Hancock for an excellent job. Well-written book. Once again, I will leave a few links below but I highly recommend this book. You all have a nice day.